Hey guys, my name's Ryan.
And I'm Sarah, and I wonder how many of you like camping with no electricity, no lights, and no modern day amenities. Ryan, how do you feel about camping like that?
You know what, Sarah? I actually love camping. I just have a couple conditions in my camping experience. I just have to be warm,
Okay.
dry. The sun has to be shining above 25 degrees Celsius. I have to have good food cooked and prepared for me, and I have to be comfortable. So I love camping, but in all seriousness, camping might slightly take me out of my comfort zone, probably because there's no toilet.
You know what? If there's no toilet, I'm not going. And you know what's even worse than having no toilet is when there's no lights, especially at night. You can't see anything. You don't know where anything is. You stub your toe. It's horrible. And during those times is when you realize how important having light actually is. Let's check out this God story and we're going to see more about the significance of light.
Did you hear about the race between the lettuce and the tomato? The lettuce was ahead, and the tomato was trying to catch up. Hey everyone, it's Alyssa. Let me tell you about this trip I took with my youth group a couple years ago. We were in a different city, so this church let us stay in their basement. Now the thing about this church, it was super old. It had all these back hallways and things like that, and someone had the bright idea of playing hide and seek in the dark. Now, I don't know if you've ever walked around somewhere in the dark, but suddenly everything feels really scary and unfamiliar. You're thinking things are gonna jump out at you. It's crazy. But then, when we turn the lights on, everything is suddenly familiar and safe. It's amazing the difference light can bring. Today, we're talking about more than just the kind of light that comes from a light bulb or a candle. We're talking about the light of Jesus. And that brings me to today's big idea. Jesus in us lights up the world around us. Last time we talked about the Sermon on the Mount. Let's pick it up in Matthew 5. You are the salt of the earth, but suppose the salt loses its saltiness. How can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything. It will be thrown out. People will walk all over it. Wait, hold on. Why is Jesus talking about salt? How would you feel if Jesus told you that you are the salt of the earth? I mean, what does that even mean? Well, let's talk about salt. Imagine you're using a salt shaker, putting it on some French fries or popcorn. Why do we do that? We put salt on our food to enhance flavor or bring out what's already there. So if Jesus is calling his disciples and us the salt of the earth, he means that we need to bring out the best in the world. You know what else salt does? It preserves. If you put salt on some raw meat or some fish, it won't go bad as quickly. So if Jesus calls his disciples the salt of the earth, that means that they're preserving something. Maybe they're preserving the kingdom of God on earth or preserving the good news message of Jesus. Salt also heals. Have you ever gargled with salt water when you had a sore throat? I know it tastes awful, but it actually helps you get better. So when Jesus calls us the salt of the earth, he means that we bring healing to people around us through a relationship with Jesus. Okay, let's see what Jesus says next. You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill can't be hidden. Also, people do not light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand. Then it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine so others can see it. Then they will see the good things you do, and they will bring glory to your Father who is in heaven. Okay, hold on. First we're talking about salt, now we're talking about light. What is going on? Jesus is using something called a metaphor to compare one thing to another. It's kind of like when your teacher says, oh, it's like a zoo in this classroom. She doesn't mean that there's monkeys and elephants and giraffes everywhere. She just means that it's noisy and loud, like a zoo. So when Jesus says to his disciples and to us that we are the light of the world, he doesn't mean we're actually glowing, as cool as that would be. Let's think about what light does. First, light is welcoming. When there's just one light in a dark room, people usually gravitate towards it. Light also helps you see. So when we're the light of the world, that means we're welcoming people into God's kingdom and helping them see the good news of Jesus. So we're not supposed to hide our light. Jesus tells us to shine so that everyone can see it. We want everyone to know the good news of Jesus. We want to be able to point them towards God. At another time in the Bible, Jesus says that he is the light of the world, that anyone who follows him will never walk in darkness, but they will have his light. So when we follow Jesus, we have that light in us. And Jesus wants us to shine that light so that the people around us can see Jesus through us. So Jesus wants us to be the salt and the light. He wants us to bring out the best in the world, to bring healing to the world, and to shine the light of Christ. This sounds a bit like that idea of shalom that we talked about last week, that big idea of peace, life the way God wants it to be. Jesus' love for people is so huge that he wants us to partner with him in his mission to share God's love and light with everyone around us. When we focus our lives on Jesus and ask God to show us who needs help, who needs healing, who needs God's love, then our light will shine like never before. And that brings me back to today's big idea. Jesus in us lights up the world around us. So go on, shine that light, and I will catch you next time.
Turn to the person next to you. See if you can answer the questions.
Before the time runs out.
Question time! The book of the Bible today's God story is from is Malachi, Micah, Matthew, or Mark. Matthew. Jesus said that we are the salt of the earth. What does salt do? Enhances flavor, preserves, heals, or all of the above? All of the above. Jesus said that you are the light of the world. Light is warm, welcoming, and dangerous, helps you see, a trap, or healthy. Helps you see.
Family photo. How many times can you say the key verse before the photo is taken? Say it with me. Those who are peacemakers will plant seeds of peace and reap a harvest of righteousness. James 3, verse 18. 3, 2, 1, go!
Say cheese. Say cheese. Cheese. Say cheese. Cheese. Say cheese. Cheese.
You know, it's crazy how the importance of salt and light really hasn't changed much over the years.
You know what, Sarah? I actually don't think I could eat food without salt. There is nothing better to me than a bunch of fries, a little bit crispy on the outside, covered in salt, and then when you're finished them, you lick up all the salt when you're done. It's amazing.
You know what? And that's why popcorn is my favorite snack. And you know what I think you're also gonna enjoy, Ryan?
Tell me.
Radioactive Rob. Let's check out this amazing video about electricity and some other cool stuff.
I'm Radioactive Rob, and I do science shows for kids, and I love doing this because the joy really comes from the reaction and the excitement that the science gives to other kids. And seeing what happens when you do things, sometimes things you're not supposed to do. Oh man. I love making parents cringe when I let their kids make a mess, and it's part of my job to do that. So this here is a bottle. And this bottle usually has liquids in it. But as you can tell, right now, this bottle is
Empty.
empty. Exactly. I need a helper to help me out. And okay, I'm gonna call you up, young lady with the blue shirt. What's your name? Paige? Excellent. So right now it's totally empty. And what we're gonna do is inside this bottle, we're gonna put our little friend. His name is Pedro, see? Pedro, the little piece of paper. Hello, my name is Pedro. We wanna get him inside here. And the only way he can go inside of the bottle is if we take a big breath and you have to blow him in. He has to travel by air. So you're gonna take a big breath and you're gonna blow him right in. And say, go. Oh, okay, Pedro, I did not go into the bottle. I want to go in the bottle. Okay, we're gonna try again, okay? Oh man, I'll tell you a secret, okay? But you guys, you can't listen because it's a secret. Wait a second, why is it so quiet all of a sudden? Okay, it's not supposed to work. Did you hear that? It's good, but you guys didn't hear it.
Yeah, we
Yeah, you not at all? Okay, perfect. The bottle is empty. There's no liquid in it, but watch. What's in the bottle? It's full of air. So every time you tried to blow the little paper in, the air overflowed and pushed them out. So to get them in with air, what can we do? We can squeeze the bottle, we can put Pedro there, and then you can wiggle your fingers like this, and it sucked right in with air, and Pedro's happy. All right, big round of applause. I love to associate different things with reminding me about God and about Jesus. And one thing that I find is really fun and really easy is the light switch. You turn on the light switch, the room lights up, and God lights us up inside. And it's just such a simple thing. We do it every day. Sometimes I will look around and flick the light switch on and off 100 times. Someone will tell me to stop, and I'll just be like, I'm loving Jesus right now, so we're okay. Have you ever flicked on a light switch? Yeah. So you walk into a room, it's completely dark, you're like, I can't see. You start feeling the wall, and you're like, where's the wall? Good. And then you're like, where's, and then, sorry, was that your nose? Oh, man. Okay. Yeah, and so you flick on the light switch, and the lights turn on, and everyone's like, yay, I can see. So inside the wall, there's wires, and when you turn the light switch on, the wires connect. When you turn the light switch off, the wires come apart. I need a volunteer. So Catherine, we're gonna do this little science experiment. Now it's very important that you follow my instructions perfectly so you don't turn into a cloud, okay? Okay, so here we go. So first off, you're gonna put one hand out like this, and then wrap your fingers right around it. Good stuff. Now you're gonna turn it sideways, okay? Not so fast, Okay, slowly turn it sideways. Perfect. Good stuff. Okay, now we're gonna get this hand, and you're gonna raise your hand above, you're gonna wiggle your fingers. Now you're gonna pat yourself on the head 3 times. And now you're gonna snap your fingers and do this. Good. And now you're gonna slowly reach over and hold the other side. Yeah, very good. And now remove this hand, and then hold it again. Hand off, hand on, hand off, hand on, and off, and stop. Oh, stop. Okay, perfect. So Natalie, we're gonna do this with your sister. It's gonna be teamwork, okay? You're gonna put your hand there. Hold on. It's not working, but I know why. So you're gonna get your finger. Hold on, don't let go. You're gonna get this finger. You're gonna point your finger, and you're gonna squish your sister's nose with your finger. So just go touch her on the nose and hold it there. Oh my. See, your nose is magic button. Try your sister's nose. There you go. Oh, so you're figuring it out. And a big round of applause for our friends here. Woo! Okay, here's something I love about the science experiments too. And it's how you can tie it in with lessons that God teaches us. Like everywhere you look, God's teaching us things. So the experiment with the energy stick where we hold both sides and our conductivity lights it up reminds me of the energy that we get from Jesus in our life, because he lights us up from the inside to the outside and gives us the confidence and lets us know that everything's okay and that we're loved and that we're part of his community.
I highly recommend doing science at home. It's so much fun, and just don't do it by yourself. Don't go exploding things on your own. Make sure if you explode things, do it with mom and dad.
You know what, Sarah? I love that imagery from that light beam and closing that electrical circuit. When the two sisters touched, the light lit up. You know what? It actually reminds me of our relationship with Jesus. When we get close to Jesus, we actually begin to reflect his light to the world. We can remember that when we draw close to Jesus, we will actually light up to the world.
You know what? It's such a cool analogy, and I really don't think I'm going to look at a light switch the same without thinking about Jesus. What a cool reminder.
Yeah, it's time to get into our small groups now and see what this looks like in our own stories.